Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Gulfport. This is their part number FR140D. This is a floor anchor. They in fact call it a heavy-duty floor anchor. Yeah, I would agree. There are floor anchors that you will see attached to hollow metal frames that are less material. They're smaller in size. I don't know that they're going to be thicker and thinner in gauge. It would be my expectation that they're not. This is the type of anchor that usually gets welded to the back inside throat of the frame at the bottom of the jamb. This is literally the floor anchor or the base anchor itself, and then through these holes is how you'll attach it down to the floor. And they are very common, required, in fact, components of a certainly of a masonry style frame. Now, an anchor like this is it is taller than necessary completely. It could certainly be half of that height. Generally, this is the side that's going to be welded to the throat of the frame, and they are literally welded. Now, what this manufacturer might do is permit the possible modification of the installation of this to allow for a concept of adjustability. When you weld the base anchor in, you're done. Put the frame down onto the floor. You're going to secure the anchor down to the floor, shoot it to the floor, whatever anchorage you're going to be using. It's going to hold the frame in place as you then bring and build the wall up to it. Obviously, your other anchors are either already in the throat of the frame, etc. That premise of what I just outlined is based on the floor being level. Okay, that may not be always the case. So what this manufacturer does have, and they have an option for an adjustable base anchor, and literally what they do is they take the base anchor and they will, I'm just drawing a quick sketch here. This is a cross-section of the frame. They're going to take this piece of hat channel, weld that to the frame. In here are literally bolts that will then bolt through these slots. And just imagine a bolt and a wing nut. You can then adjust this to the height that you need and even cant it back and forth, tighten those nuts down. And then you have a situation by which you can account for a floor severely dropping off, or some sort of a pitched situation, so that the frame is square, plumb, level, and true, is the point. So if you were to search for this manufacturer, Gulfport, for their adjustable floor anchor, that would be their part number FR688A or FR688F. The difference is the A model takes it a step further in the sense that it can be adjusted horizontally and vertically. The adjustment of the plate horizontally could sure have everything to do with where you want to place the base anchor. You could be doing a frame that is unusually deep, like a 12-inch frame. You've got a storefront facade. These are going to be service access doors that are not exactly concealed from the street view, but you have a particular flooring on the inside, and then you've got the regular construction of the exterior side of the building. You might want to scoot those anchors out, let's say, in order to hit that area, or you might want to move them laterally. Having it vertically adjustable, sure, that's a bonus, but you might want to adjust it horizontally as well. Now, this, of course, has no slots horizontally to permit that. But the fact of the matter is, why they put slots in a fixed base anchor can only be, my guess is that they, I don't know, might be reducing weight also as well, might be increasing strength, in the sense that you've got, if this was a continuous piece of flat metal, that may not ultimately serve your best purposes. You can also get inside of these slots and weld it. I might look for them to have just a regular old base anchor that is half of the height and just completely solid. I do not see that they offer... Well, they do. Definitely, forgive me. They have their FR140B. That is just the run-of-the-mill base anchor. And then when they get to and they call that a small anchor. They call this their heavy-duty anchor. They list the gauge of the small anchor at 18 gauge. This material is 0.064. 0.064. Are we talking about 16 gauge, I would think? Yeah, so exactly. So 0.064, this is going to be 16 gauge. So it's heavy duty in the fact that it's literally not 18 gauge. It's 16 gauge. Okay. This is going to be made of steel. This is a wipe coat galvanized type product for corrosion resistance. This is going to be intended for your your smaller jam depth frames, most certainly, as it is, 4-inch wide. So it would be appropriate. It would certainly be appropriate for a 4 3/4 frame. It would work for a 5 3/4 frame as well, but for a 5 3/4 frame, you would use the larger size, which is their. It's still the FR140D, except that you specify 5 3/4. We said overall height. We didn't say overall height, I don't think, but 2 13/16 overall height. Overall depth of the anchor, about 1 inch and 13/16. Overall projection, the same, about 1 inch and 13/16. Okay. Common anchors, Hilti guns are going to shoot this down. Any sort of wedge anchor, sleeve anchor, hex head bolt, lead anchors naturally, but generally this material is shot down with powder actuated tools, is what I'm talking about. Charges and pins that go into powder actuated tools and it gets fired down to the ground is how I'm familiar with it being done. Now, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Gulfport products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full parts product catalog. The name Gulfport is literally synonymous with hollow metal door parts, and when you speak to them, they will tell you within that first conversation that they provide parts to all of the, or many major hollow metal manufacturers as their source for parts. I don't doubt that. I don't see their parts installed on those major manufacturers' frames. However, the need to have anchors available quickly goes way beyond just a major manufacturer of hollow metal making doors and frames. It's quite often people order a whole box load of anchors because they got missed. Anchors get forgotten, they get lost. If the anchor can't be welded to the frame when you deliver the frame, there's a real chance that it's going to be lost on the job site, or you forget to load them in the truck. I've been guilty of that myself, and for that reason, I like the welded-in T-anchor, and I like it because not only is it a good way to install a masonry frame into a masonry CMU type opening, but the reason I like it is I can't forget the anchors. When I weld them to the frame, they can't get lost, stolen, forgotten. Any questions on the FR150D in a 4 3/4 inch size, and that's the reference to the jam depth, or any other Gulfport product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.